Imagine the world's factory grinding to a halt, its once unstoppable assembly lines silenced by a storm of tariffs, tensions, and tough choices. What happens when giants like Apple and Amazon pull the plug on China, leaving behind ghost towns of shuttered plants and millions scrambling for survival? This is the chaos unfolding in China's manufacturing heartland, a seismic shift that's reshaping global trade and exposing the fragility of an empire built on cheap labor and endless exports. Buckle up as we dive into the unraveling of China's industrial dominance, where the pursuit of profit meets the harsh reality of geopolitics. Picture Zhengzhou, once dubbed iPhone City, a buzzing metropolis where Foxconn's massive complex churned out Apple's flagship devices by the millions. Now it's a shadow of its former self, workers fleeing, production lines idle, and entire neighborhoods emptying out like a scene from a dystopian thriller. Apple, the tech titan that turbocharged China's rise, is leading the exodus. By the end of 2025, the company plans to shift 40% of its iPhone production to India, with Vietnam and other spots picking up the slack. Why? Skyrocketing tariffs from the Trump administration, averaging 145% on Chinese imports, have turned what was once a cost-saving haven into a financial black hole. Add in rising labor costs, a shrinking workforce, and relentless U.S.-China trade wars, and suddenly, China's allure fades faster than a faulty battery. But Apple's not alone in this great escape. Amazon, the e-commerce behemoth, has slammed the brakes on imports from Chinese vendors, abruptly halting orders for everything from beach chairs to air conditioners. Sellers are reeling, forced to hike prices or flee the platform altogether. As warehouses overflow with unsold goods and container ports turn into graveyards of stranded cargo. Nike, Samsung, Google, even Volvo are joining the rush out, relocating to India, Vietnam, and Malaysia, where land prices are spiking and low-wage workers are eager. It's not just a business move, it's a survival strategy in a world where geopolitical tensions have turned supply chains into battlegrounds. Zoom out, and the picture gets even grimmer. China's manufacturing sector, the backbone of its economy, is crumbling under its own weight. Overcapacity has led to a flood of cheap exports, but with U.S. shipments plummeting 60% in early 2025, factories are shutting down en masse. 40 million jobs vanished, youth unemployment hitting 60%, and $500 billion in exports wiped out by the trade war. Riots erupt as furious workers clash with authorities, cities empty as migrants head home, and local governments panic over halted production and fleeing talent. Remember Made in China 2025, Beijing's brand plan to dominate high-tech industries? It fell flat, leaving the country more dependent on foreign firms than ever. Ironically, it was Apple that helped build this beast. Back in the early 2000s, Tim Cook's team poured resources into China, training engineers and upgrading factories to create a manufacturing juggernaut. Investments ballooned to over 4 times the Marshall Plan, turning rural outposts into tech hubs. But now, as iPhone sales flatline in China, eclipsed by homegrown brands like Huawei, the tables have turned. Beijing's bans on Apple devices in government offices and export controls on rare earths are desperate countermeasures, but they can't stem the tide. The ripple effects? Global prices might spike short-term as supply chains scramble, but in the long run, this diversification could stabilize trade and boost economies in India and Southeast Asia. For China, it's a wake-up call. The era of unchallenged dominance is over, replaced by a scramble for new markets and domestic demand that may never fully materialize. As factories gather dust and workers face uncertainty, one thing is clear. This chaos isn't just China's problem. It's a global reckoning. Will Beijing adapt? Or will the world's factory become a relic of the past? The world watches, holding its breath.